Folks, welcome back into Thriving with the Thrift Savings Plan. Now, Marty, lifestyle funds. Now, you know I've never been a big believer in these because they're complex for a lot of people, even though they're supposed to be simple. Mm-hmm. You have all these different dates. We go from 2025 fund all the way up to the 2065 fund. Mm-hmm. And the idea being the longer into the future you have the fund date, like the 2065 fund, the more risks they take for you. The shorter the period before you actually have the fund enact, like the 2025 fund, the less risky, the more safety, the less chance of return too, though. Mm-hmm. So we go from 2025 fund all the way to 2065 fund, and every 5 years is a fund in between. Yes. It gets really confusing to a lot of people. There's no guarantees in here. I want people to remember that. No guarantees. The closer you get to retirement, the more conservative the mix, and mix of other funds are rebalanced to get you that specific target. I guess it works, but I'm not a big believer in that. I think there's better ways to manage your money than doing these lifestyle funds.
Yes, and Coach, I would agree with you. I mean, it's if you have a friend or neighbor that has a 401k, and the 401ks, they'll call them target date funds, yep. Where you buy a 2025 or a 2035 fund, you're basically telling the system, yep. This is how many years I'm going to be before I retire. And so you're putting all your trust in this system that they're going to come up with this portfolio of funds that's in your best interest.
Magic bean, they're going to plant, the big stock's going to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure where the magic pixie dust comes from, where they know how to pick those individual funds. But the reason that I'm not a big fan of those target date funds is they're just extremely, extremely vanilla. There's really not any, there's really no specialization in there in how the funds are invested. There's not a lot of transparency in how that money's invested. So I can own a 2035 fund, and it's going to take a lot of research and investigation to figure out exactly how those monies are invested. Yep. And especially if you're in a lifestyle fund and say a 2025 fund, great chance that probably 70, 80, 90% of your money is in bonds, and that's not diversification.
No, that's not. And that's where people have to be careful, because now, one of the things that people have told me that they liked they thought the lifestyle fund was a guaranteed income plan. Like they said, hey, I want to have a lifetime income. But that's not what this is set up for. But we have met with a lot of folks who were able to roll their money tax-free from the Thrift Savings Plan into your very own total retirement plan, which would give you that lifetime income that you could know ahead of time what the lifetime income was going to be. How important is that?
It's critical, because it's not only generating those, as we talk about it all the time, Coach, those streams of income, but we want the number of streams of income to be there. And then we get in as a financial planning firm, as you know, we talk about tax efficiency and all the things that go along with that. So, but when it comes down to that TSP, and we'll probably talk about that in a few minutes, some of those exit planning strategies and how we do that. The in-service distribution is one of those strategies, obviously, but we want to know at the end part, as we get to the end of retirement, we want to see what options are available to us, and see if there are any advantages of keeping it in the TSP when you retire. We don't really see at Capital Financial, we don't see any really reasons to leave it there, because you cannot implement that income, that true income plan, where you have an income that you cannot outlive. They have a couple of options inside the TSP plan when you do retire, but not nearly the amount of options we have at Capital Financial.
If you're worried about retirement income or wondering what it's going to be, you really need to take advantage of our GPI plan and our GPI index. Growth, protection, lifetime income. So your money's going to grow where you don't need it, and then it's going to protect that growth. In other words, you're not going to give the growth back. That happens to too many people I've talked to. They get a great return one year, only to give that back, and sometimes even more than that the next year. That's not a good way to have a successful retirement. So if you're interested in that GPI plan, all you have to do is call the number you see on the screen, or one of our planners can get in touch with you and show you some tools and techniques to maximize your retirement income. Makes a lot of sense to me.
It makes all the sense in the world, Coach.
Now, when we come back, we're going to talk about exit planning in more detail and how you can make sure that now you've taken all these years and all these steps and put the money in the TSP. Let's make sure now you benefit from that money you put aside in the maximum way.